Why Vance had to die. Hidden meaning explained. You know, the more you think about Vance's death in NCIS episode 500, the harder it is to see it as just a shocking twist. Because when you really break it down, this wasn't random. This wasn't just for drama. This was necessary. Let's be real for a second. For years, NCIS has been living in the shadow of one man, Gibbs. Even after he left, his presence never really went away. Every decision, every case, every moral line, somehow always traced back to him. And Vance? Vance was the one holding that world together. He was the last true connection to that original era, the last person who fully understood what NCIS used to be. And that's exactly the problem. Because as long as Vance was there, the show could never fully move forward. Think about it. Every time something major happened, Vance was the safety net, the authority, the stability, the guy who knew what to do when everything fell apart. And that works until it doesn't, because eventually the next generation has to step up. And they can't do that if someone is always there to catch them. That's the deeper meaning behind his death. It's not just loss, it's transition. Now let's talk about how he died, because this is where the writing gets very intentional. Vance doesn't die in some random shootout. He dies protecting the truth. A bomb, corruption, a system that was already breaking apart. Sound familiar? It should, because this mirrors what NCIS itself is going through. An institution under pressure, forced to prove it still matters. And Vance, he becomes the symbol of that fight. He literally sacrifices himself to make sure the truth survives, not the agency. Not the building, the truth. And then comes the most important scene, the one with Ducky. At first glance, it feels emotional, a goodbye, a tribute, but it's actually doing something much deeper. Because Ducky isn't just there as a familiar face, he represents legacy, the past welcoming the present, almost like he's saying you've done your part. It's time to let go. And here's the detail most people miss. Vance isn't ready, not at first. He hesitates, he's thinking about his kids, his team, everything he's leaving behind. And that hesitation, that's what makes this moment real, because it shows that even someone as strong as Vance still struggles with letting go. But eventually, he accepts it, and that's the key, because his death isn't just sacrifice, it's release. Now, here's where it all connects. Why the show needed this to happen. If Vance survived, nothing really changes. The team goes back to normal. The structure stays the same. The future stays predictable. But with Vance gone, everything is uncertain. And uncertainty, that's what creates tension. That's what drives story. That's what makes people watch. Now suddenly, who leads NCIS? Can Parker truly step up? Is McGee ready for something bigger? And what does NCIS even look like without its foundation? This isn't just a character death. This is a reset button. And if you really look at it, it mirrors something else. Real life. Institutions don't last forever. Leaders don't stay forever. At some point, someone has to step aside or be forced to, so something new can grow. And that's exactly what Vance's death represents. Not the end of NCIS, but the end of what NCIS used to be. And the beginning? That's what season 24 is going to explore. But here's the part that makes this even more interesting. What if Vance isn't truly gone? Because NCIS has done this before, not bringing characters back physically, but emotionally, mentally, symbolically. And if that happens, Vance could still guide the team, not as a director, but as a voice, a reminder of what matters. And honestly, that might be even more powerful, because in the end, Vance didn't just die to save NCIS, he died to transform it. So when people ask, why did they kill Vance? The real answer is simple. Because the show needed to grow. And sometimes growth comes at a cost. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Vance's death was the right move, or do you think the show just lost something it can't replace? And if season 24 is really a new era, are you ready for it? Trust me, we're not done talking about this because there's one more layer nobody's really discussing yet.